Welcome to MMA Mag, the best MMA show around the world. My name is Magny, and I will be your host for this evening. Thank you for joining me. So, this past weekend, no fights. I know, I'm sorry. It happens. We actually have weekends where there's not fights. It does happen from time to time. But this weekend, we're back in route to some fights. Not on your typical Saturday, though. We're actually on Sunday this weekend. Bellator won't be back for another week and a half or so, and World Series of Fighting and Invicta will be back in September. So we do have the UFC Fight Night in Canada this Sunday. So, you know, maybe relax a little bit, watch the fights before you go back to work on Monday or whatnot. That's what you do. So anyways, let's just jump right into it. I'm going to talk about the three main fights, the main event, the co-main event, and the Coco main event. Coco main event. Yeah, that just happened right there. So anyways, Josh Berkman against Patrick Cote. Now, I don't know, at first I was looking at the odds and everything, and I know a lot of people were saying, how is Berkman a favorite fighter, you know, the favorite fighter over Cote? But if you look at it, Cote's only fought 5 times in like the last almost 3 years. It's going on 3 years, I think, in November. So that's not a lot of activity. He's 4-1 of those 5 fights. Berkman is actually much more active and has fought some pretty high-level competition. He's 6-2-1 in his last 9 fights. His last fight was a loss against the stun gun, and before that he was fighting against Hector Lombard, which was overturned because Hector Lombard had tested positive for banned substances. But, you know, and granted, he was losing that fight, but Berkman came into that fight very sick from what was told, but he didn't want to pull out. It was his re-debut into the UFC. He got cut back in 2008, I want to say, after on a losing streak of 3 or 4 fights. The UFC had cut him, and he's basically been another promotion since. He started out with the World Series of Fighting since they started, and he was there all the way up until when he left to fight Hector Lombard as of recent. So I think that because of his activity and Cote's inactivity and the people that Patrick Cote has fought compared to Berkman, you know, I think that Berkman has fought a little bit higher level competition. So with that being said, and Cote is a fan of the show and we love him, but I would have to give the edge to Berkman as well. You know, I think that mainly because of the activity, he's been way more active than Cote. And I think look for Berkman to win this, possibly by a finish, but we'll see. Hopefully it's a good fight, and that's what we always hope for, right, is having a good fight. Co-main event is Erick Silva and a last-minute replacement, Magny. I believe he was replacing Rick Story, was the original fighter, if I remember correctly. And Magny was on like a 7-fight win streak just until recently. He got derailed by the Brazilian practitioner of jiu-jitsu, Damian Maia. I mean, the guy's a beast, right? When you come to the ground, he's a beast. Erick Silva, slight favorite on this. What I will say that could be an issue is Magny strikes. He does like to do some takedowns, ground you out a little bit. Erick Silva will work from his back, and he loves submissions, so that might not be a very good game plan for Mr. Magny. If Magny's smart and has a good team behind him for his corner, they're going to want to keep him outside, go with the strikes, and hopefully catch him with something, maybe finish it with a TKO or grind out a win. In any case, I think that's going to be I think it's going to go to a decision. Erick Silva has been having a real difficult time of trying to string some wins together. He's on a 2-fight win streak right now. His most recent, I believe, was Josh Koscheck. But if you look at his record prior to that, these last 2 wins, it's win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And the losses are always the upper level fighters is typically what he loses to. What his problem is, I wouldn't say Magny is a top-level fighter, but I would say he's closer to the top level than some of his previous wins. So I think Erick Silva could have a difficult time. I don't know. That one's a tough one to call. Let me get back to you on that one. Main event, though, with Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. That's another very tough matchup. They're both on some decent win streaks. Oliveira's on a 4-fight win streak, I believe. Holloway's on a 6-fight win streak. They're ranked pretty equally. Holloway's ranked number 5 in the featherweight division. Oliveira's ranked number 7. This is going to be a tough fight. I will say, though, I think the level of competition goes to slightly Max Holloway. I think the level of people that he's fought is a little bit harder. His 3 losses are to Beast, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Dennis the Menace Bermudez. I mean, those guys, no 3 of those guys are slouches, you know what I mean? Charles Oliveira, the people that he has beat, not as impressive. And we'll take it one step further. Max Holloway beat Cub Swanson. That's actually the fight he's coming off of. Charles Oliveira lost to Cub Swanson. I have to go with Max Holloway on this one. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's pretty well matched up, but I give the edge to Max Holloway on that. Back to Neil Magny and Erick Silva. Man, you talk about inactivity and being active with Patrick Cote only fighting 5 times roughly in 3 years, opposed to Neil Magny that fought 7 times in damn near 12 months or 13 months or whatever it was. I mean, total opposites of the spectrum right there. Magny likes to stay very active, probably the most active, only second to Cowboy Cerrone, if that. I don't know. I haven't checked it out and see who is more active, but I know they're neck and neck of who likes to stay the most active. Those guys are both crazy. Magny just fought this month. He's fighting in the same month. He fought on UFC 190, the Ronda Rousey card, August 1st. So to fight now, this coming weekend in Canada, 3 weeks out later, that's, man, my hat is off to that man. I think I'm going to go on a limb. I think Erick Silva is slightly favored in this, but I'm going to go with Neil Magny on this. I think he's going to pull out the upset. It's not a big skew. I think it's pretty close. So we'll have to see what happens on that. But that is this weekend. We do have a full fight card, obviously. Early prelims on UFC Fight Pass like normal. Standard prelims are going to be on Fox Sports 2 probably, and then the main fight on Fox Sports 1, what have you. So I'm keeping it short and sweet this week. I just got back from a little vacay, so not a ton to talk about other than me having fun at Disneyland, because that's where I like to go because I'm a big kid, and I don't care. Hate me if you want. I love Disneyland. So in any case, thank you so much, everyone, for the love and support that you've been with me since the beginning. And I look forward to seeing you each and every week. So thank you for watching. Have a great night.